Bringus Sticker Pack 3, now available as magnets at Bringus.store.
The year is 2013. Valve is riding high off of some of their greatest game releases of all time. Left 4 Dead 2, Portal 2, CSGO, also Dota 2, but I will not be including it in that list for accuracy's sake. Outside the Valve hole, Nvidia was releasing the legendary GTX 700 series. Rockstar put out this little game, just a little indie title called Grand Theft Auto 5. You might have played it, or more likely just watched someone else play it.
So let's say Jesus enters my car and starts driving recklessly.
AMD was probably doing something, not sure though, and Microsoft put out their absolute game changer.
Introducing
Windows 8. Loathe it or hate it, game changer is exactly the right way to describe Windows 8 because it indirectly changed gaming forever. Gabe Newell, longtime Valve CEO but more recently a Stalker 2 player, tried Windows 8 when it released and said it was, quote, like this giant sadness. That's one hell of a review coming from the guy who's operating a multi-billion-dollar software company with a customer base that was comprised of 94.8% Windows users in 2013, and that statistic scared him shitless.
The direction that Microsoft was taking with Windows was one that attempted to narrow the openness of the PC platform. They wanted it to become a simple, streamlined software experience, similar to that of everyone's favorite lockdown software hellscape, the iPhone.
Microsoft saw the fat stacks that Apple was making off of the App Store, and they realized that if they could find a way to dam the natural flow of the river of software on Windows computers, they could be collecting a fee on every application that passes through it, much like the fees that developers have to pay Apple to host their apps on the App Store, even for free apps. And in a strong use of the do what Apple does but worse business strategy, that dam would come in the form of the highly anticipated Windows 8 App Store, which it would have had to be high to anticipate. It technically had apps, and you could technically download them, but they were all significantly worse than websites and traditional applications, and they were all highly optimized for touchscreens.
And to the surprise of nobody but Microsoft, everyone disliked that.
Looking out the window of his gaming empire in Bellevue, Washington, Gaben saw the fires of consumer retribution consuming the Microsoft headquarters just a few miles away in Redmond, and he knew what he had to do to stop the flames from spreading and consuming Valve as collateral damage. He grabbed his Debian Linux fire extinguisher, and he did what he had to do. He sharpened his programming skills in a fun and engaging way with the sponsor of today's video, Boot.dev!
I've decided to become a back-end programmer, but I have two problems. I don't know what a back-end is, and I don't know how to program.
Is this you? Boot.dev's whole thing is that they can teach you that stuff. They have courses that teach back-end web development in Python and Go that appeal to your absolutely fried Zoomer attention span to make sure that you don't quit out of boredom. And unlike some other platforms, Boot.dev actually has you write the code, not watch 10 hours of somebody else coding. Inevitably, you will end up getting stumped by a problem, but with Boot.dev, you can call upon Boots, their AI bear wizard. He's programmed specifically not to hand you the answers. He just gets you thinking in the right direction so that you still end up coming up with the solutions yourself. And honestly, this is like the perfect use for an LLM. Boot.dev has XP, levels, achievements, a leaderboard. The idea is that it tricks your brain into learning while the whole thing feels like a game. And if it ain't your kind of game, well, there's a 30-day refund policy, so worst case, you lose $0 and still get to pick up some good info about monads. Start programming and have fun doing it by going to boot.dev and using my code Bringus Studios for 25% off your first year with an annual plan.
Now that I've hooked you with that intro with my award-winning animation skills and forced you to listen to my epic ad read, GG sponsor block users, it's time we learn about Steamboxes, SteamOS, and Steam Universe. And by we, I mean you, because I have other shit to do right now. So go gadget Tyler McVicker.
Yeah, Gabe gave me the mission when we put the hardware lab together. He's like, Microsoft is threatening us with excluding the store from being on Windows 8. If we're going to do this, I want to take Valve to the next level. The entire family participating in the living room on Steam. I want grandma, grandpa, all the way down to the grandkids having a great time on Steam.
And it started in a very abstract way. There was no set goal. But over time, it became clear that they needed to create their own operating system. They needed to create their own hardware to run that operating system. And if they wanted everybody to experience Steam, then they also needed to develop input devices to work with that hardware and software. Gabe Newell has been publicly jealous of Nintendo for years.
This is something that Miyamoto has always had. What the input devices and the design of systems should be like while he's trying to design a game. Our sense is that that's going to allow us to actually build much better entertainment experiences for people. The idea isn't like, oh, we suddenly thought we could make more money by building hardware, because hardware's actually traditionally been kind of a lousy, low-margin business. In order to take what we think are interesting steps forward in terms of the kinds of experiences we design, we need the ability to be thinking more about everything that the customer is doing.
So SteamOS is born, the Steam controller prototype is shown off, and Valve announces Steam Universe. They are coming to the living room with Steam boxes. They never designed their own Steam boxes to sell in a retail space. Instead, they OEM'd out those designs to third parties, which did not do well. SteamOS 2.0 was quietly dropped, and it seemed as if the team had completely fizzled out. This is the point that the team that would be working on this kind of hardware and software were instead working on virtual reality and Half-Life Alyx. But work on a living room box had quietly and slowly continued, with a few prototypes being made between 2016 and 2020. The only time we've actually seen this box in the quote-unquote wild was in the final hours of Half-Life Alyx. This exact box is sitting in there, and early iterations of what we are currently calling the Deckard, Valve's next standalone VR headset, originally had to be tethered to a compute unit. This is a prototype of that compute unit, but that is supposedly just a Steam Deck you wear on your face, and you get to use this crazy Xbox Duke-looking controller on a virtual theater screen that likely will have 3D depth built in. And although Valve may not always stick with whatever projects they're working on at a given time, when they do finish a project, it's usually going to push the industry forward. Hi, I'm Tyler McVicker. I used to go by Valve News Network, and I make YouTube videos about Valve software and a bunch of other stuff. I recently published a full-length documentary about the history of Half-Life 3, covering its development from 1998 all the way up to 2024. That is not a joke.
I took those and pushed them just a little further, but used those in both the Half-Life games, game.
What was that? Mike, I love you, but you only ever did music for Half-Life Alyx, right? In terms of Half-Life, it was just Alyx. And that video is the thing I am most proud of as a creator. If you're at all interested in learning about deep Valve software history or id Software history or anything related to like 90s PC gaming, I think you'll like my YouTube channel. Link down below.
Now that you're educated, your degree's in the description, by the way, you can understand the allure that these Steam boxes would have in current year.
We barely got any of these things, and the ones we did get were fleeting and usually sucked. But at this point, they've kinda got that Wii U appeal. It's been long enough that they've decayed into something cool. The rarest of them all was believed to be this prototype that Linus Tech Tips showed off. Valve only gave 300 of these out to beta testers back in 2013, and they never saw a retail release. But that one that Tyler mentioned from the final hours of Half-Life Alyx? Nothing. Valve never released it, never sent it out to testers. Hell, they've never even acknowledged that it exists. Thing's a ghost. Nobody knows anything about it. It's completely unknown and undocumented, but considering how much time is still left in this video, I'm sure you've realized that that's all about to change. As of right now, as I make this video, this unit is the only known Steam Machine variant of its kind that has ever made it outside of Valve HQ. So how did I get it?
From two dudes named Jack and Mason, which is all they wanted to be credited as, and I do not blame them. Which reminds me, my Patreon is in the description if you want to help fund the imminent legal battle I'm gonna have to fight because of this video. So thank you, Jack and Mason. Now let's get a look at this thing.
I still can't believe that this exists and is on my desk. Just looking at this thing, you would not really think much about it. If I saw it, I would just be like, oh, it's one of those crappy Inspirons or whatever. Like the Costco special slimline PC that your grandma has. But something about it's just not right. Like the completely blank faceplate. There's nothing on it. Really, the only thing here is 3 USB ports. A little bit of ventilation on the side, some more on that side, some ventilation on the top, and then around the back, a super basic rear I/O, all the audio jacks in the world, Ethernet, 4 USB ports, and a recovery button. What's the recovery button do? Well, we will be pressing that later. And then in the middle, we've got this Rogue display port. It's not on the motherboard and it's not on the GPU. Oh yeah, we have a GPU, evidently made by MSI. And then a power plug right here for the power supply that is located right there. Is there anything on the bottom? Nope, nothing on the bottom. So like I was saying, it's just like a PC. You might expect something like this to be kind of Steam branded, you know, like this one. This is Dell Alienware's attempt at a Steam console back in the day. See, look at that right there. But this computer is just a black box. No Valve branding, no Steam branding, nothing. Not even like a serial number for the case. Does this case exist outside of this? I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't even opened this thing yet. And since there's really nothing else left to look at, I think it's about time that we find out what's inside this Valve Steam machine thing that I'm definitely not supposed to have. It's got hard drives. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. We're on red alert. I'm not taking any risks. For game preservation's sake, I'm taking these out. If I can figure out how. There we go. Okay, there's 2 hard drives. The top one's a terabyte. Not sure about the bottom. They look the same though. Okay, want to get one thing out of the way. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. No files or data found inside of this computer will be shared, distributed, or made available in any way. I do not claim ownership of any copyrighted material or intellectual property that is on this hard drive. All rights belong to their respective owners. This video complies with fair use principles by discussing and analyzing historical and technical aspects without infringing on anyone's copyright. Please do not come after me. With that said, I'm gonna go make some images. Okay, that took a while. So they are both a terabyte. And I'm a little sorry I got your guys' hopes up with my legal disclaimer and everything, but I don't think there's anything on these. This one is literally empty, and this one just has what looks to be like a basic Windows 8, basic Windows 10 installation. Like you wiped your hard drive, reinstalled Windows. That's all that's on there. At least just looking at the file system. I took the images in a way that lets me scan them for deleted data. You know how like when you delete a file, it's not actually gone? You just told the hard drive, hey, it's okay for you to replace this with something else if you need to. The image that I took holds on to that old deleted data. So I'm running a few tools through it. We'll see if we can find anything cool. But for now, I guess we'll just throw them back in. We got this cute little power supply, this MSI GPU of some kind, this AMD looking ass motherboard, and a whole interposer riser system going on. There's a lot to sink our teeth into. Oh geez, but before we do that, I should at least power it on to make sure we're actually functional. I was told it works, and I've seen pictures of it working, but I haven't seen it working myself. And that's probably a good thing to validate. I wouldn't be surprised if it took one look at who owns it now and decided to just never work again. Whoa. Oh, where'd it go? There's like a little... Whoa. Okay, you gotta check this out. Watch this, ready? I'm gonna get my hand close. Whoa. That is so cool. And you know, I'm just now realizing that there's no power button on this thing, so... Power button? Whoa! Okay, that was really cool. Can we boot? Oh, yep. Ryzen 5 1400. I did already know that. 8 gigs of RAM. We'll address that in a second. Devices changed, CPU or memory or CMOS has been cleared. Enter setup to configure system. Okay. So the CMOS battery's probably dead, but also they replaced the RAM stick. The person I got it from replaced the RAM stick with this G-Skill one. I'm not exactly sure why, but let's put this one back in. Oh man, this power button though, way too cool. I knew it was gonna have this ring here because, well, in the picture it has that ring, but I didn't think it was gonna like react to your presence. How does that even work? I like the little beep it makes. It makes the same little beep that the Steam controller makes, and the Steam Deck. Little Valve gaming beeps. I like them. Okay, goodbye, G-Skill. That's a 4 gig stick. This is also a 4 gig stick. I believe the Patriot is faster, and it matches. 8 gigs of RAM is obviously not great, but it'll be enough to get us booted for now. I want to peruse the BIOS a little bit. Gonna need my BIOS perusing keyboard. You know the one. Hold on, let me get you guys that good. All right, ready? The system date defaulted to 1/1/2017. There's also copyright 2018, so I imagine this thing was put together around then. Physical memory says 4096 megabytes. Ah, maybe that Patriot stick is bad. Oh, there is a keyboard button. Huh. I rarely see that. I only see that on like tablets or a laptop with like a touchscreen. Now that is interesting. I want to speculate, but I don't really know anything about this thing. Wi-Fi controller. Oh, I guess there is a Wi-Fi controller. Right in there. Well, it's not really much of a BIOS. We don't even know who the manufacturer of the board is. I guess it's time we see what's on that hard drive. And I think, if I was told correct information... I was! That is so cool. If that right there doesn't give an air of legitimacy to this thing, I don't know what does. Damn. That is just so cool. Okay, Windows 10, as expected. It's, not going too fast. I guess I did take 4 gigs of RAM away. We're also booting off a hard drive. The fact that the user is named PC does not give me too much hope. Yeah, that looks like a fresh copy of Windows 10 to me. Oh, excuse me, we have user benchmark and the user benchmark installer. But other than that, she is pretty empty. Oh, thank goodness we have Razer software. Yeah, I'm not seeing much of anything. As far as I can tell, this is your basic fresh Windows install. And yeah, the other hard drive, it's just empty. Recycle bin, cleared. So, like I said earlier, the image that I took will let me recover any deleted data, and I will report back when I do a more comprehensive search of the hard drives. You guys can't really see this, but this says Radeon. That doesn't surprise me too much if they were intending to put SteamOS on this thing, because AMD plays nice with it. RX 580? Yeah, I thought that looked familiar. This is an RX 480, but same thing. Oh. We are rebooting. Very good, very stable. I'm sure our bad RAM stick is not helping. I would like to see who it says made this thing. MSI. System model Valve Steambox. Well, I mean, obviously, but like, they said the thing. Valve said the thing. I don't know, that's just, I like that. That makes me all warm and fuzzy. So it's an MSI A320M Pro VD/S. Is that like a real motherboard? Yes, but also no. That is not that. For one, that's ITX, and two, I mean, just look at this. We didn't have VGA or DVI. That's not even like remotely the same. There isn't even anywhere to put a Wi-Fi card on this one. Okay, my guess is that this is a very custom board, loosely based off of that motherboard, and they just threw the BIOS for that on here. I mean, as long as it's got the same chipset, it should kind of work. This knowledge brought to you by someone who's never built a motherboard. Okay, so we know what this is, but I never bothered looking up this MS7B39. And when you look that up, almost every single Google result is for the schematic of the motherboard. And just giving this thing a quick look, that is the board. This part is being filmed out of order, so I'm already familiar with the entire board, so I can confirm that's the board. And they're just selling the schematic for like 100 rub.
And I'm just so confused. Because the A320M Pro VDS is its own weird little micro ATX thing like we saw. And then this is just like the little ITX thing that's in here. I don't know what to think of this. I think that board is like a bespoke Valve board that they designed. But if that's the case, why is this just floating around on devicedb.xyz? And how much is 100 rub? Man, Valve Steambox though. It's just like, it's real. Like, to some extent, we've kind of known about this thing, but also not. Because at one point, sadly, it's Bradley took this picture. Well, okay, he didn't take the picture. It was in the final hours of Half-Life Alyx, which was like a little documentary thing that Valve did. This was just like in the background of one of the shots. Now, this is not this. It is pretty damn close, but it's not the same thing. The Steambox from the final hours has 2 horizontal USB ports right there. Mine has 3 that are vertical, and 1 is a Type-C. This one just has 2 Type-A's. So like I said, very similar, and either way, this is the closest we're ever gonna get to that machine. As far as I'm aware, this is the only one that's ever made it outside of Bellevue. I have downloaded GPU-Z and HWinfo64. I assumed that our CPU was just a regular Ryzen 5 1400, and that appears to be correct. The motherboard is being reported as that same A320M from earlier. Chipset is AMD, what? Promontory / Bixby.
Hi, Bixby.
Bixby looking ass motherboard. Okay, that's just the code name for that family of chipsets. And the GPU is the MSI RX 580. We already knew that. Oh, nice, it's the 8 gig version. Okay, well this didn't really tell us anything we didn't already know. GPU-Z. Yep. That's an RX 580. Stop being so normal. Be interesting. I think if we want to get to the real interesting bits, we're gonna have to dig. Okay, the goal is 0 irreparable harm. None. The Valve enthusiast community cannot afford for this thing to break. And also, it would make me unbelievably sad. These little clips are very prone to breaking, so we're going to be very careful. Oh. Never mind. The rest of the clips are on the bottom. I can get to that one, but I think there's 2 more under here and here. So we're just gonna put those back for now. I do want to take that off eventually though, because I need to see how that power button thing works. It's so cool. Jeez, where do we start? I guess let's go with the GPU. Oh, wow. This little GPU retainer bracket thing, this is not universal. This cannot be extended or contracted in any way. This is made specifically for this variant of the RX 580 and pretty much nothing else. I could be wrong because I don't own one, but I think you could also fit a Vega 56 right here. There's just like a little bit of extra room. And what is going on here? GPU into like a 3/4 inch riser into a right angle riser. I mean, the more that I think about it, I can't really think of a better way to do it. Yep, that's your typical RX 580. Then off comes riser 1. Oh, excuse me. Finger 1. And then finger 2. Oh, hold on. We have some mysteries here. Okay, this is not your average riser. This is a PCIe by 16 riser right here, like you'd expect. And this looks like a second PCIe by 1 in front of it. So that means the socket on the motherboard. Whoa, yeah, that's weird. It's got 2 PCIe slots, one just right after the other. Oh, that's strange. Oh, wow. Okay, well, hold on. There's a little bit more on this thing. There's a internal mini display port, I think that is. That was facing like this. That was facing into the computer. And then this is that rogue display port that we saw earlier on the back. And then what's the deal with the standoffs? Those look like M.2 standoffs. Oh, also this is not finger 2. This is just finger. Don't get it twisted. What's on the back? Oh, well, there it is. Wacky. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Hold on, let's look at the traces. The traces are just these pathways here on the board. If we can trace those back to a certain area, we can kind of figure out where this thing is connected to and what it might do. So from the full-size DisplayPort connector, we're going down here, and we go all the way across the main PCIe slot, and then over to the mini DisplayPort port right here.
So this is just a pass-through for this, or this is a pass-through for this. I don't know. And then how does the M.2 factor in? Those traces just end up here and then stop, but those little holes means that they continue on the other side of the board. And now I'm not as confident about this one, but then it looks like it continues on this way. And that makes sense because this is just a little tiny PCIe connector, and an M.2 socket is essentially also a little tiny PCIe connector, kind of. So that's not that weird. The weirder thing to me is definitely the display ports. What are they for? I don't know. I'm gonna go crazy thinking about it. Hey, what's up? I realized I haven't plugged anything in a while. So I also found this prototype Steam controller, and I made a video about it on my second channel, this one right here. You know where to find it. Thought you might find that kind of cool. Anyway. There's another bracket here, but that is just the AC cable input and the power switch. Nothing too fancy. Oh, there's these little hooks here for the bottom panel. Oh, that just comes off. Oh yeah, there's screws and everything. I didn't even notice. I think we can just... Ooh. And there's the side panel. Please. Please nothing fall out. Oh, all right. We got access to those clips for the front panel. So I think now we do take that off. I gotta be really careful. There might be like a hidden ribbon cable to that front power button light thing. Are we good? Are we good? No ribbon cable. Oh, I think something got messed up. Oh. Oh, there's a little LED thing. I don't know what this is. It was glued in place. That's fine. I can glue that back in place. Now this is fancy. So there's a ring of like 12 or so LEDs. Got a few more over here. I don't recall these ever turning on. That's interesting. Well, there's another one here. And then this looks like an infrared receiver. And I wonder if that's an infrared LED. That probably does all the detecting. It's just a guess though. I have no idea what I'm talking about. A little bit of spring action going on. There's actually a handful of physical buttons. You can't access those normally. Yeah, at least in this stage of development, those LEDs would go here, that little row of 4, but that is just black plastic. Let's see, what if I shine a light through it? So there's the main one. Oh, that looks so cool. No, there's no way you're getting any light there. This is so freaking cool. It looks like an eclipse. I hope they use that in whatever cursed official Steam machine thing that happens. And then there's definitely no way to hit any of these physical buttons. That's so weird. Okay, we're gonna have to boot this thing up at some point with this off because I wanna see if those LEDs do anything and I wanna see if these buttons do anything. And I still have to glue that. There are screws on this thing, but I'm not gonna take those off. It looks like there's just like a pogo pin connector right here that's electrically connecting things. There's an FFC connector right here. No idea what that could be for. I am really starting to think that MSI OEM'd this whole computer because they've got these MS part numbers on them. Well, this is weird. I think this is just a USB-A just chilling on the board. It's 3.0. What does that go to? That goes to this front panel plug. Oh, what? This is, what's it called? Yeah, huh, interesting. That is Oculink. Longtime Bringus viewers will know that Oculink is how you can send a PCIe signal pretty far, but in this case, they're just sending a USB 3 signal. But this cable actually splits in two. So one half of it goes to that USB 3 on the motherboard right there, but then the other half, it goes to this? What is this? Oh, that's a mini display port. Okay. But why? I'm trying to use all of my brain cells. Okay, this goes here. Mini display port plugs into that. And then that goes to the Oculink here to the front panel where we have a USB-C and two USB-As. The Type-C port could be for video. Oh, is it for VR? If right now you're thinking, well, yeah, of course it's for VR. You said that at the beginning of the video. Past John had unfortunately not watched this video yet, so he did not know that. Okay, so you plug this in. You have a DisplayPort cable going from your GPU into here. That gets extended down here and then over to the Type-C port. And then this Type-C port is doing video over DisplayPort over Type-C. I don't own a Valve Index, but I'd bet you anything. Okay, I guess not. I was gonna say I bet the Index has a Type-C for video, but that does not look to be the case. However, this connector for the Index, interestingly, also uses a Oculink connector. Well, okay, so if it was for VR, then they would probably just want to stick a display port right on the front, not USB-C. And if they wanted to use Virtual Link was a short-lived attempt by the VR industry to simplify the connections between a PC and a wired PC VR headset. Pretend this is like a Vive or something. Traditionally, you would have a video cable, a USB cable, and a power cable, usually with some box thing involved. Virtual Link promised that all of that could just be reduced down to a single USB-C cable. And that promise was supported by big names like Nvidia, AMD, Oculus, Microsoft, and of course, Valve. Valve backed it as an industry standard and even planned to ship a Virtual Link cable for the Index, but that never ended up happening. In fact, nothing ended up ever happening with Virtual Link. By 2020, Virtual Link was dead on arrival, with effectively 0 headsets supporting the standard. GPU makers went buck wild with it though. You can find fully functional Virtual Link ports on almost every RTX 2070 and 2080 card, and on a handful of AMD Radeon RX 6000 cards, like that one right there. But by both companies' next generation of cards, the Type-C Virtual Link port was removed. The only thing still for sale today that even remotely resembles Virtual Link is actually the PSVR 2, which is said to be using some kind of a Frankenstein version of the standard for its single USB-C cable connection. You know, I wonder if that would just work without the PC adapter on this thing. But if Virtual Link was so great, why was it never adopted? Valve cited signal integrity issues for its failure, which I find kind of funny because today we can output to multiple 4K monitors over a single Type-C cable, no problem. And you could even like connect a bunch of devices to these things and even output like 240 watts of power. I guess Virtual Link was just a little too early. And so if that was a Type-C that was extended all the way out here just to a Type-C, I could see you plugging in a little patch cable there and then boom, Virtual Link. But that's... I don't know. I will confer with the experts. I'm at my VR and obscure Valve knowledge end. Luckily, I know where I can get a lot more of that. But when we put this back together, I want to plug that mini display port in. We'll try some stuff. Another kind of interesting discovery. So the front power button light circle thing, that's got a big old connector that has 2 different cables coming off of it. One of those cables goes all the way to here. This header is labeled USB. The other header is this one. And I believe, yep, that is going into the front panel. So this is your front I/O, this is USB. It could just be pulling USB for power, but I don't think that would be the case. So something on here communicates over USB. There's more going on here than just a cool lighty uppy button. Okay, out comes the board. And there it is. Other than this weirdness, it's kind of just AM4 ITX motherboard. Oh, it's got one of those crummy CMOS batteries. That sucks. Okay, I'm gonna have to order that. Here is a part number. Oh, there's another fan header on there. Oh, wow. I just realized that there's no case fans. There's none. The power supply isn't going to provide any airflow because it pulls in air through the top and then just sends it right out the back. I think we should repaste this. I mean, it was built 8 years ago. I probably should. Oh, real quick. Anything on the back? No? Okay. I hope the CPU is not gonna come with it. Okay, thank goodness. Oh yeah, that's that good OEM stuff right there. Crust City, baby. Oh man, I can probably kiss a Valve tour goodbye, huh? I don't exactly think they're gonna see me as a buddy after this. I'm sorry, it's just too cool. I can't not share it with my internet friends. I couldn't resist. Now that's good to go. And now we can finally take out the power supply, which, to be honest, I don't really know why I'm doing. And there you go. FSP Dagger 500 watt. Oh, interesting. This also has an MSI part number. There was only one USB-A plug, yet there are 2 USB-A ports on the front. I think there's a USB hub inside of here. And to test that theory, I will use the tried and true method of connecting random crap to an Android phone. So with just one cable, we can connect a keyboard here. No, we can't. Maybe it needs that 12-volt power. Aha! And then we can plug the other USB-A in. And look at that, we can still use our keyboard even though it's the same plug right here. So there is a hub in there. Now what'll be really interesting is if we can use that Type-C port on the front too. And yes, that is interesting. Part of me thought that that Type-C port was only gonna work for video, but I guess it can do USB and video, like a proper Type-C implementation. Hey, you never know with this in development stuff. Okay, well, I think that is about as taken apart as this thing is gonna get. All right. Untakes apart your Steam computer. Shh, this is our little secret. So this thing is all good now, and while it is put together but does not have a faceplate on, I figured we should see what those extra buttons and LEDs do. Okay, it is plugged in, and you'll notice that the thing where you get close and then it lights up does not work anymore. There's something in the faceplate itself that lets that happen, apparently. The springs make contact with what looks like graphite pads or something on the faceplate. I don't know, maybe those work like antennas or something. What if we touch it? Oh, yep, that'll do it. But not these ones, just the center one. Oh, one of the LEDs went off. Watch that top one. Two of them went off. What does it mean? Okay, I'm just gonna hold it. There's a green one over here. They're not very descriptive. That just says LED 3, and the other ones are 17, 16, 15, 18. I wonder how you get those bottom two to turn on. I will now be hitting this button. That did nothing. Oh wait, I think that's like a supplemental power button. Let me hit it again. Yes. Okay, this button down here. Nothing. Hold. Nothing. This one. Whoa, this one flashes the ring. This one. Oh, that makes those LEDs turn red. So I wonder if these are just like self-test buttons. This one's definitely a power button. I just can't seem to figure out what this first one down here does. Maybe it'll do something in Windows. Yeah, I don't know what this does. I think there's a hard drive activity LED up here. Because if I copy some files, look at that, it's going nuts. Oh. Well, the screen turned off, and then it came right back on. Look at this, in Device Manager, I'm gonna hit it. It refreshes. What's going on there? Hold on, let's open up USB DView. Oh, look what we got here! VR interface adapter. I think my theory was right. Wait, there's a Steam controller? I didn't plug a Steam controller into this. A Steam controller was plugged in 2023? Oh, everything is 2023. That's the date of the computer. Wait, it says the Steam controller is plugged in right now. The Steam controller is in the room with us right now. That is so weird. We're gonna have to investigate that. We've also got front panel test. Okay, so what if I hit the button now? Front panel test did something. Okay, well, I think that's all we're gonna figure out about those buttons. And I want to see what that internal Steam controller device is all about. And the VR interface, I was totally right. Before we dig into that though, I am really sick of using Windows off of a hard drive. We got a few upgrades to do. Goodbye, original hard drives. I'm going to install one of my own, just in case. I'm also gonna put in this 512 gigabyte NVMe. Hopefully this NVMe slot over here actually works. In you go, in you go. Oh, this does not feel good. Sideways NVMe. This is truly terrible. And we're also gonna give ourselves a RAM upgrade. Goodbye, broken stick. Now we got 16 gigs of DDR4. I considered 32, but I think we're going to run into considerable bottlenecks with our first gen Ryzen CPU and our RX 580 GPU. 16 should do just fine. Please excuse me while I soft my Michael. Don't worry, SteamOS will come later. It really does not want to install Windows. It just gets to this Steam logo and then boot loops. I can hit F11 and then get to here, but if I select it, it just hangs and then boot loop. Okay, it's Ford time. Oh wait, right as I unplug it? Are you kidding me? Okay, wait, it's not Ford time yet. Can we put it back in and say sorry? Shift F10, disk part, list disk, list vol, letter C, exit, C, setup.exe. Ah! No! Well, I tried. Let's see if it can magically figure it out now. No, don't boot the random ass copy of Ubuntu that's on that SSD. Okay, I'm using the Ford flash drive. The Ford flash drive is Ventoy. I have mixed feelings about Ventoy, but if we can boot the Windows installer... which we can't. All right, you get one more try, Ventoy. We're gonna do Wimboot. Why? Okay, I looked at the MSI website for the A320M Pro VDS. There's no F6 driver for that motherboard. There really shouldn't need to be one. Oh, sure, Windows 10 works. No, that's not right. I'm gonna make a new Windows 11 installer. Hold on. It can't even see it. What is your problem? I don't know. This is so weird. All right, I have a nuclear solution, but before we do that, remember that recovery button from earlier? What happens if we boot while pressing that? Oh, it just goes to the BIOS. That's cool, I guess. I was hoping that was just gonna start, like, restoring some operating system to the hard drive. That was wishful thinking on my part. Okay, nuclear option time. We take this stupid B-Link, open it up, take out its SSD, take out this SSD, put it in there, power it on, install Windows, and then we take it back out, put it back in, and one Microsoft. All right, we now have Steam. See you later, you piece of shit. Oh, I just had a really good idea. Can we do the hardware survey? Unfortunately, I don't think you can force a survey. Yeah. Man, that would be so funny. What are we doing? Oh, Steam controller. No controllers detected. Let's look at USB deview again. Oh, we got a lot of Steam controllers now. That is really weird. What if I was also to plug in a Steam controller, huh? There are now a lot more Steam controllers. Oh, hold on, I get it. Unplug mine, pair a Steam controller, X plus Steam. Yep, that's it! This motherboard has an onboard Steam controller dongle. I mean, like, duh. Like, why wouldn't it? I mean, it just makes sense. It makes so much sense. Oh, yikes, that's a great frame rate. Realistically, it's probably in here, not in the motherboard. But it simply makes sense. I like when it makes sense. Okay, this is an abomination. Okay, I gotta try something. Do you think we can... Oh, damn. I really thought they would have made it so you can power on the computer with the controller. I'm sure they would have wanted to, they just didn't get there quite yet. What? What is this? Wait, diagnosing your PC? All I did was install a driver. Windows, I diagnose you with brain damage, Windows. So you're really not gonna boot? This is an official AMD driver installation moment. We're doing a lot of boot looping and not a lot of booting. Well, safe mode didn't work. I guess we are factory resetting this. I love mysterious hardware. Oh, it always works so good. You may notice this is not Windows 11. Yeah, that reset, that didn't work at all. Something about 11, this thing, oh, it just really does not like Windows 11. Oh, wait, what? I can eject the VR interface adapter? No, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is take this here DisplayPort cable, plug one end into the GPU, plug the other end into the riser. Now, if my theory is correct, we can take this monitor, plug it into the Type-C port, and... No? Nothing? Wait, no, we got two screens. Hold on, back in. Well, where'd it go? Don't gaslight me, I saw it. There it is. I don't know why it's not showing up on the screen. But the information about the connected display, this is correct. It's 1920 by 1280. Something's just not quite... Oh, wait, there it goes. Not gonna lie, I don't have a clue what I did. Yep, look at that. My theory was correct. So this computer had something to do with Steam controllers and Virtual Link before it was canned. All right, and now just for shits and giggles, what happens if we eject it? Well, it's still working. Okay, a couple mysteries solved. This has gotta be one of the only desktop computers with a Type-C video output on it that isn't on the GPU and isn't some weird mini PC. Granted, you do have to do this mess of a solution. I mean, but at least doing it that way, you can take out this GPU and put a different one in there, throw your cable around it, and then you can still use your Type-C port for video out. That's pretty cool. This would have been just like a baller bare-bones chassis thing if Valve sold it. But I mean, if I had to choose between them selling this or like the Steam Deck, yeah, I'd choose the Steam Deck. But what if you didn't have to choose? What if we installed the Steam Deck's operating system on this computer? Now, this is not a foreign concept to veteran viewers of this channel. I've been on that SteamOS since before you even knew what a Steam Deck was. And normally what you're gonna do is use some community-made Linux distro that is very close to the actual Steam Deck operating system, something like Bazite or Chimera OS or HoloISO if you really hate yourself. But today, I really hate myself. This is just the Steam Deck recovery image flashed to this flash drive, and we're gonna just install it on this. You can do this. In fact, Linus did it. It's usually not recommended though, because usually there's a lot of... It's not typically recommended though, because the community distributions like Bazite, they tend to include a lot of fixes and compatibility for older hardware, and for hardware that, you know, is not a Steam Deck. But I'm not a do what's typically advised kind of guy. Cool. Oh yeah, sure, okay. Won't boot off the nicest, fastest flash drive I own, but you will boot off the piece of crap Kingston one that I literally found on the ground the other day. Oh, sideways Linux moment. And here we are. Okay, we're in the installer. I think we want this. Proceed. Huge L. No, don't say that. Oh, we're going at 14 megabytes per second, baby. That's that USB 2 speed right there. Okay, this is gonna take a while. Reimaging complete. Choose proceed to reboot the Steam Deck now. Okay, proceed. There's no way this thing's just gonna boot. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Oh, that's not even a boot loop. He's just dead. Oh, he's not dead at all. SteamOS is alive and well. On one hand, you could say, oh, you shouldn't be surprised. It's the Steam computer. But you also got to remember that this thing is from like 2017, 2018. Steam Deck came out in 2022. I mean, depending on how long they were working on SteamOS, these also could have been super early test mules. I wouldn't write it off. They went all AMD. For some reason, there's a lot of time between boot ups. It just leaves you with this black screen to think about your choices. According to this, we're doing stuff. Oh, actually, I think I know what's going on here. I had this same problem when I was putting my living room PC together. I was gonna put the RX 480 into that, but it would just black screen on boot. I bet this is the same problem. Oh, come on, it almost fits. This is a Radeon RX 6950 XT. It is very powerful, but more importantly, it is kind of recent. So is that all we need to boot into SteamOS? Actually, no, this is stupid. I'm not doing that. Oh, it doesn't fit. I hate everything about this. All right, let's see if it works. 3, 2, 1, on. We have video, but do we have SteamOS? Oh, yep, that was it. It was just that problematic Polaris GPU. All right, well, are we really even gaming on this if we attached a big honkin' GPU to it? Not really. I don't know if the Steam Deck recovery image is going to be the way to go here. It's okay. It's okay. There is a solution. And that solution is called using Bazite like I just should have done earlier. Bazite has a fix for Polaris GPUs. At least it's supposed to. And yes, I learn from my mistakes. I promise I will not format the installation media this time. Installing. And there it is. Bazite simply cannot stop winning. And I simply would like to connect this Steam controller. Are we still good? Oh. I think we gotta go do the pairing process again. Pair Steam controller, X plus Steam. Are we good? Hell yeah. Okay, we're doing the thing. We're in SteamOS, kind of. On the Steam box. I'm going to now install a bunch of games to this thing, and then we can finally know what it would be like if Valve released a Steam computer home console thing in the year 2017-ish. I am now wearing my finest Valve merch, and I am now ready to have the greatest Valve experience of all time. Oh, also, it can do this now. Don't know how, it just can. And like this device was intended to be used, we are using it as if it was a living room game console, controller only, no keyboard necessary, and we're gonna play some games of the era. Doom, Prey, Red Dead Redemption 2, and then that's kinda not this thing's era anymore, but also some other stuff maybe. And of course Half-Life Alyx. But we're gonna have to play that on Windows because Steam VR on Linux is a world of pain that I did not schedule time for today. There's kind of like a yellow overlay. It's got like a warm filter on it. I've seen this a few other times on SteamOS or Bazzite or whatever you want to call it. It kind of just happens. Okay, we're gonna do 1080p, FXAA, motion blur off, Vulkan, overall quality ultra, and then all the rest of this. All right, we are immediately at 60 FPS. Holy crap! A little sensitive? That's a little better. Oh boy, I am gonna suck ass with this controller. Well, a little more than normal at least. I'm so excited for the Steam controller too. Like, I get it. I do get it. This controller is cool. It's really cool. And like, for brief moments in time, it does click in my brain. And the Steam Deck very much clicks in my little brain. So I think the new Steam controller, if it's just a screenless Steam Deck, like I really hope it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be excellent. Okay, so this thing is just blowing through this game. Everything ultra, 60 FPS, no problem, not even a dip. You can pre-order Doom the Dark Ages from Doom 2016. That's wild. Okay, so 2016, this would have come out a year or maybe two before when this thing was made. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Prey should be like right smack in the middle of when this thing was made. 1080p, no VSync, preset very high, very high. And this is the part where you guys find out that I've never actually really played this game. I started it years ago. I got like 15 minutes in. I've heard it's a good game. I do want to play it. Actually, why don't I just play the whole game right now? You guys have time, right? Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but the computer is making a little bit more fan noise than it was last time. Oh, I haven't even really looked at the temperatures at all. Okay, so we're 78 on the GPU, 50 on the CPU. That is an excellent CPU temperature. The GPU is not too bad. Put on your TranStar uniform. What do you mean, this TranStar uniform? RG? What is RG? Is that the grip? Yes, it is. Wait, this game has like native Steam controller buttons? I didn't think any game had that. That's crazy.
Morning, Mr. Yu.
Good morning. I always thought this intro was pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty much all I saw of the game, so.
For this first test, I'd like you to remove the boxes from the red circle as quickly as you can.
Physically fit.
Do your best to hide in this room.
To
Take your
hide?
time, relax, think it over.
My brother in Christ. What if I just don't?
Any synaptic register at all? No?
Brain appeared to be empty, he says. You're planning a vacation. Go somewhere familiar you know you love, or try something new? New. You've been sentenced to death for your actions. How does this make you feel? Calm. It was worth it. A runaway train is bearing down on 5 people who are tied to the track. Oh, is this the trolley problem? Oh, this is the trolley problem. Maximum carnage. Let's go.
Not your problem, right?
Damn straight. Oh, what the? It's been black for like a minute. I can't save the game. Huh? Oh, something is actually wrong. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but it's also a good place to stop. Okay, well, that ran perfect the entire time. This should push it a good bit harder. Oh, we were so close. Okay, Rockstar, I'll plug in a keyboard. I know you can type it without one, technically, but no. All right, we're maxing it out. Oh, there we go. Some actual work being put in. That CPU is just chilling, literally. 47? That thing won't heat up to save its life. All right, so we're getting like 30 FPS. The temperatures really are great for how loud it is. And by how loud, I mean how loud it isn't. You can barely hear that thing. There's no case fans. Yeah, 30 FPS very consistently. Okay, things are running too good. We're gonna skip these two, go straight up to Forza Horizon 4. Oh, of course you need me to log in. God damn it, Microsoft. What? Sign in is blocked.
Don't get blocked.
I entered it one time. Recover? No, there's nothing to recover. Okay. Well, that was a bit dramatic, Xbox. All right, 1080p, ultra quality, you know the drill. VSync off. Wow, yep, this thing is also just blowing right past 60 FPS. Man, this thing would have made for a killer living room PC. Yeah, I don't know, it's just good. Okay, VR time. Okay, here we are in Half-Life Alyx. This took a considerable amount of time to set up. I would like to thank the Minions Bob router. There he is right there. Thank you, Bob. He is how we are doing our wireless PC VR today. Now you may be thinking to yourself, why are you even bothering?
I got a dead zombie here. I thought the combine
That's kind of loud.
QZ.
Why am I even bothering with wireless PC VR when we have that Type-C port on the front with Virtual Link and all that? And the reason is because there are like 0 Virtual Link headsets. So unfortunately, how do you wear the hat? So because there are like no Virtual Link headsets, we just have to go wireless. Or we could go USB in, but it's not actually Virtual Link. That would just be USB protocol. But don't worry about it, don't worry about it. This is running pretty good. Every once in a while, AirLink just completely craps itself and it goes to like 0.2 FPS. But other than that, I mean, I'll have to take a look at the recording later because the recording looks a hell of a lot better than what's actually happening in my headset. And the recording is what matters. I don't remember how to put this hat on. Oh, hey, I did it! But we're on maximum settings right now. This is great. This computer would have been so damn cool if it came out in 2017, 2018, or whatever. It'd be cool as hell if they released it today. Oh, AirLink just crashed. Okay, well, that was a fun 5 minutes. All right, well, you guys get the idea. This computer, it's amazing. Thank you for watching this video. Oh, and if you could, I'd appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.